What's good? Hello, fam. I am Sharon Nyree Williams, your host for Shakin Shit Up. That sounds so official. I don't think I ever started the show that way before, but it's all good. But welcome to Shakin Shit Up. For those of you who haven't been here before, Shakin Shit Up is about sharing stories, creativity, and exploring the messages within them. This is the event that is the fire breathing conversation you want after you hear some dope shit. No diggity, no doubt. And so today I am so excited to bring on two of my favorite people. Plus, Michael B Mayne to be here too. He'll chime in here and there. Love you, Michael. But we're gonna do the daggone thing. We're gonna have a great conversation, and we're gonna have some fun. I don't think I have anything else to share at the beginning of the show today. If my voice goes in and out, I'm just going to tell you I've been sick with a sinus infection, and it's going on week 2. And so if my voice goes in and out, just roll with me. And I might cough or something. That's just real life right now. And so I apologize ahead of time. But we're going to have some exciting information at the end of today about We Out Here festival that's happening in Seattle that Michael is the brainchild of Michael. And we're just going to have some fun and really dig into some conversation. All right, y'all ready to shake some shit up? Let's do the daggone thing. So the first person I would like to bring to the table is an amazing person. And I'm just going to read their bio and then I'm going to bring them out because they are so dope. And I've admired this person from afar for a very long time and had the chance, thanks to Michael and Mira, to meet her in person a few years ago. So Reagan Jackson is a multi-genre writer, activist, artist, podcaster, and international educator with an abiding love of justice, spirituality, and creating community. Bam. Booyaka Shara. I know y'all ain't ready for this show. Y'all ain't ready at all. She's an award-winning journalist and columnist for the Seattle Globalist. Her other published works include 3 collections of poetry: God, Hair, Love, and America, Love in Guatemala, and Summoning Unicorns, of 2 children's books, Coco La Wish. I hope I said that right. She will let me know. Coco La Wish, a fish from a different rainbow, and Coco La Wish, when rainbows go blue. And still here, a South End mixtape from an unexpected journalist is the book she just dropped. All about the South End, which I think we're going to hear some of that today. So, bringing to the table the queen, Miss Reagan Jackson.
Booyaka, booyaka, booyaka. No. I love that. Thank you. I really appreciate this rendition of my bio. That made me feel really honored.
Thank you. Thank you. We try to make people feel at home and loved up in this as we shaking shit up. We got to do something for all of you who's shaking shit up out there in the world and making a difference. Yo, Reagan, tell the people 3 things that they should know, that you want them to know about you.
Ooh, okay. Well, one, of course, the shameless self-promotion. I wrote this book. You should buy it. Buy this book.
Yes.
And in general, I'm a writer and I'm going to write a whole bunch of books. So you should just buy them all. Yeah. And they'll all be different and they'll all be great and they'll all be a reflection of where I'm at in that moment. There was some writer who was talking about wanting to keep editing and editing and editing their work because, to represent the evolution of who they are as a person. And that's not how I think of it more as like a time capsule. We do it, we capture the moment. This is who I am at this now moment. And then moving forward, I'm gonna write something else that captures who I am in that moment.
Wow. That's awesome. I really like that. Cause you do see I think sometimes being a playwright and sometimes writing plays is it never ends, right? You can always go back and revisit and edit it. But then when you put something into a book, it's there it is. What I'm gonna revise it. I'm gonna revise it and say volume 2 of what I just said.
Add to it, clean it up, dust it up a little bit.
Clean up a little bit.
But I think about that because there's this feeling sometimes of that wasn't my best, or, something like that. And it's like, no, it's not that it wasn't your best. It's that your best has evolved. So maybe like the way that you're thinking or the way that you're feeling, it shifts and it moves and you expand and you learn and you grow. And so I always want to like make a space for that, but also I'm not interested in apologizing for who I was. I want to honor the continuum.
Now, see, that's a whole nother conversation, right? Because I'm thinking like instantly when you said that, I'm thinking about like the whole thing around council culture, right? And Kevin Hart's statement about, yo, people can't grow, people can't. That was a time that we did that work. Y'all liked it then, and now we're here. You're like trying to cancel me and stuff. And so, I mean, it's real, right? Like the developing of you as a person in your work. I mean, it shows. Like even last night for me, I was digging through some old work, and I found some poems from 2000, and I'm like, I talked about a man and a woman relationship. Really? Like, what was I going through? Like, wow. I was like, wow, because I don't write about that type of stuff now. I'm like, okay, I might need to. So I was like, I might share it on Instagram like later this week or something. But I was just like, yo, this impressed me. And I don't know what I was thinking at that time. I don't know who I was dating. I don't know. I can't remember anything at that moment. But something happened where I wanted to tell a man, look, you need to see me. You need to show up. But it's all good. Thank you, Reagan, for being here, and we look forward to hearing you in just a second from Still Here. And this next person, let me tell you about this next person. First of all, he showed up 3 minutes before we were supposed to start this podcast, this show. I'm gonna put him on blast for that because I just want the world to know he caused me some stress. And I knew he was coming because he's my boy, but yo, he stressed me out today. So I'm just putting him on blast. He got to make up for that. But yo, when I talk to him, all you see is teeth. And when he come on, that's all you're going to see is his beautiful smile and his beautiful teeth. And we laugh and we crack up every time. So, yo, my boy, Marcus Harrison Greene. You like the way I said that?
Oh,
yeah.
Booyaka, booyaka. I was booyaka.
Sound like Kumbaya.
Earlier y'all was talking about trying to get on the grown and sexy tip with Keith Sweating. I'll be sure. So Reagan came with the bam, put it out there. So I wanted to come, smooth it out a little bit.
Smooth it out. Okay,
yeah.
So let me talk about you. Let me see how sexy I can make this for you. Marcus Harrison Greene is the publisher of the South Seattle Emerald and a columnist with the Seattle Times. Do y'all hear me? Growing up in South Seattle, he experienced firsthand the impact of one-dimensional stories on marginalized communities, which taught him the value of authentic narratives.
That was all right.
After an unfulfilling stint in the investment world during his 20s, Marcus returned to his community, y'all. That's sexy, right? His community.
I think I'm pregnant right now.
With nuance, complexity, and multidimensionality, with the hope of advancing social change.
All right.
This led him to become a writer and found the South Seattle Emerald. He was awarded the Seattle Human Rights Commission's Individual Human Rights Leader Award for 2020. Yo, I bring to the stage, y'all, in all his glory and lateness.
I was right on time. I gotta say, I was right on time. And you see that you and Reagan got very vibrant backgrounds. I'm coming from witness protection, so you know what I'm saying. I needed some extra time. That's all I'm saying. But anyway, I'm gonna send you
from the background.
I'm gonna send you a paternity test in 9 months too.
Yeah,
Sharon.
I want to apologize. Right, to my mama and my daddy who probably watching. Like, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. It's a bald head. You know, it's the you get bald headed. You be like, nah. But anyway, I'm gonna stop because real talk, y'all. Marcus is like my brother, cousin, all that good stuff. We fam. No digging, no doubt. So Marcus, what is 3 things that the people that you want the people to know about you?
Well, they obviously know that I stay getting cussed out by you. Number 1 is that I founded the Emerald in 2014, literally from my mother's basement. It's been around for 7 years and going strong, and here's to 70 more. Number 2 is that I also have a book coming out. It ain't gonna be, it might not be as good as Reagan's, I ain't gonna front to you, but it's still gonna be good. It's called Readying to Rise, RTR, Readying to Rise, drops September 21st. We're gonna have to do a nice, smorgasbord fiestas of an event. It's gonna be a good time. September 21st. We connecting the dots right now to try to get some live music and everything else. So, I might sing a little bit. You heard that falsetto earlier. So, anyway, and number 3 is that I am going to start delving into playwriting and potentially some musicals as well. I'm working with my brother Ben Hunter right now. I can't tell you much more than that, but stay tuned. So there you go.
Dropping gems, y'all. That's an exclusive.
Oh, are you revisiting? Like, you're like, I'm going to tell you, and now I'm going to ask you follow-up questions.
I'll tell you though, Reagan. I'll tell you though. Don't tell nobody else. Don't say that to nobody.
I don't tell nobody else. Watching us live in public. Yeah, but are you going to revisit the stage reading of the play that you did before?
Yeah, so I am going to do. I'm turning that into a novel. Called Caucasians Anonymous. It's I just leave it at that, and then the musical though I'm working with Ben. He's trying to be Lin-Manuel Miranda, and I guess I'll be whomever else. But yeah, we putting it together.
Oh, that's fire.
Awesome.
Yeah, I heard that. Me and Michael was just talking about Ben earlier today and about when we're gonna get Ben on Shakin Shit Up. So because it's filthy. But I'm gonna go ahead and do something I typically don't do this early in the show, and I'm gonna bring Michael B Mayne on because Michael B Mayne, we all are good peeps right in this room today, right? We all family. So Michael, come and tell me how you feel about Reagan and Marcus.
I love Reagan. Marcus is all right.
All right. I'll take that. I'll take that today.
No. These are 2 people I have mad respect for, mad love for. As people, as professionals and everything, I just think like y'all some of the hardest working, most community-minded people I know. It's an honor to be here with y'all, and I'm excited to see both of you here at the exact same time. So yeah, that's how I feel about y'all.
Yeah. All this melanin sizzling today on his screen too. That's all.
Right. So yes, it's super hot, yo, and the way it's sitting on our screen right now with right now I see me, Michael, and then it's Marcus and Ray. It's like everything right now. I feel in love with y'all. But for those who haven't,
commercial for We Out Here.
Yeah,
it does. And Sharon, ain't nobody interrupting us today. Ain't nobody interrupting us until we okay.
Okay, here we go.
Shakin Shit Up. Shakin Shit Up. Shakin Shit Up.
Yeah, good stuff.
Right there.
Yeah, that's everything. Okay. So those who haven't been to Shakin Shit Up before, we keep it live, as you can see. But if you have any questions, comments, or what have you, just drop them in the box, and we'll make it part of the show as well. So don't be shy, sitting at home, whatever. You got something to say it, and we'll get it to us, and we'll let you know if we like it, don't like it. It's all good. Right. It's all real talk up in this piece. So
this look like a remake of House Party 1 or something right now. Anyway, it's all good though.
Yeah. Let's get it started. Hey, Reagan, what you gonna share with us today?
Ooh. I am going to read an excerpt from my book that you can purchase. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you, Michael.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it's called Still Here, a South End mixtape from an unexpected journalist. And it's kind of a hodgepodge of different essays and articles, some that were written a long time ago and some that are more current and have been unpublished until this moment. And it's paired with a memoir piece about my experience as a journalist. And so I'm gonna read from Calling Out and Calling In White Media, which was originally published in the Seattle Globalist, September 22nd, 2016. The first and only article I ever published in my high school paper was an assignment for journalism class. It was about an event launching the newest Norton anthology of African American literature, edited by my shiro, Dr. Nellie Y. McKay, and Henry Louis Gates, otherwise known as Skip Gates Jr. Despite the momentous occasion that people from around the country had gathered to honor, my little dinky high school paper was one of the few to cover it. Why? Because that's how systemic oppression functions. What people of color think about, feel, do, achieve is often marginalized or not considered newsworthy. This is nothing new. My entire body of work is predicated on these truths. One, what I have to say is important. My life matters. The people of color matter. That our experiences deserve to be centered, validated, and shared. To that end, the articles I write are often stories that don't get told in mainstream white publications. And when I do write about, quote, mainstream issues, read shit that white people care about, I write from a perspective and in a voice that's not often heard. From time to time, I've made a point to provide counter narratives when hashtag journalism so white gets it wrong again. But for the most part, I'm less interested in being reactive and more interested in proactively promoting the incredible work that's taking place in my community, whether it's art, activism, or just a great South End brunch. In the 3 years I've been a columnist for the Seattle Globalist, publishing articles with the Black Girl Nerds blog, the South Seattle Emerald, Crosscut, and Yes Magazine, I have never been scooped before. You would think I would have experienced this journalism rite of passage, but I have a pretty good guess as to why I haven't. White media doesn't care about, slash, wants to ignore, slash, erase things that I write about. So I was surprised and surprisingly pissed off when literally 30 minutes before I finished writing what I consider still to be the most comprehensive piece on Natasha Marin's reparations project, the stranger popped up with a 5-paragraph nothing article breaking the story. The piece was a placeholder, the entire purpose of which was to say, hey, this black lady used the word reparations and is asking for shit. Who knows what's going to happen next? After derailing my schedule to conduct interviews, spending hours transcribing and putting together a piece that actually delved into the nuance of the project and the historical context behind it, I wanted to punch Rich Smith in the face. I called my editor to help me breathe through my rage. He was mad too, but he assured me my piece was better and that in the scheme of things, that was more important than it coming out first. Before long, reparations.me went viral, and I watched the story get picked up first by all of the local mainstream media, then by the Washington Post, and even the BBC. I was excited that Marin's project had become so well publicized. She is a fellow Black woman artist and a friend who's been creating fascinating work for years with little to no fanfare. In fact, the article I wrote about the Red lineage she created just a few months back, before white media discovered her, was some of the first media attention she'd garnered, despite showing her art internationally. But a part of me felt furious to read the way white media took this really interesting project and smushed it into racialized clickbait. It's like journalists read the word reparations, then didn't bother to read the rest of the project description. They took a project that centralized the needs of people of color and doing the work to create a bridge through this collective racial trauma towards some sort of healing and spun it into a story about Black people begging for charity. Not only did I feel marginalized as a journalist, as my story got shunted aside in favor of the inaccurate, mediocre, whitewashed retelling But then I got to watch white media marginalize Black art and a Black artist again. What is the point of mainstream media providing coverage of non white issues if they aren't going to take the time to get it right? I decided to give voice to my frustration. First, I posted the link to my article on all of my social media and asked my friends to read it and share it. And anytime anyone posted an article on the subject that missed the mark, I put the link to my piece in the comments to supplement the anemic narrative. Then I took it a step further. I went through every article written by a Seattle news outlet and began to send the writers my unsolicited critiques via the comment sections of their articles, in addition to posting the link to my piece on the bottom of their pieces too. Yes, it was petty. This was my version of a temper tantrum, me screaming at the top of my lungs that I had a voice that deserved to be heard. But strangely, writing critiques was the thing that pulled me out of my anger and returned me to myself. For the past several years, I felt a strong calling to teach writing. It began with a dream about my grandmother, from which I awoke with a curriculum plan for a memoir writing class. Teaching that class has been such a gift to me, and empowering others to tell their stories and to use their voices, I found myself connecting on a deep level with my students and their lives. Moreover, I found a universal truth, the common thread of their humanity woven through their stories. It didn't matter if I was reading about a young Korean woman's tale of religion and sexuality, or an elderly white man's story about coming of age in a small town. No matter how radically different their lives were from my own, there was always something there that they said or that felt like it resonated with me. As I began to critique these articles, those writers became human to me again, and not simply agents of this faceless white supremacist patriarchy that is systematically working to silence me at all times. They became my students. And I'm going to stop there.
Thank you. One, for sharing that with us today. Yes. And your writing is so we're so able to connect. I'm so able to connect to it. So I have to talk from my experience, right? Like I'm so able to connect to how you write and what you're saying at the same time, and feel like even without you, like I love the line about I wanted to punch him in the face. Like I'm just gonna be real about it. Like this is what I'm gonna do. But then also the realness and the purposefulness that you did, and creating and changing and working to change the conversation to be more about what you wrote and the realness and truth of that versus what they were writing. And that's a boss move right there, right? That's definitely a boss move. Marcus, what's coming up for you?
Yeah, one, I mean, how excellent of a writer Reagan continues to be. For those who don't know, she was actually my writing coach when I first kind of started out. So always props to her. I'm under the Reagan Jackson lineage and tree as a creative. But and no, but just also how that was written in 2016. I want to say, is that correct? It's 5 years later, and just how much those words still resonate and how true this still is. The line about what good is it for mainstream media to essentially cover issues of communities of color if they never get it right. And it just seems like, especially over this past year with the quote unquote racial reckoning, a great awakening, whatever, however you want to phrase it, it's so little has, really changed. And so, I mean, it just continues to show for me, I mean, how much it just continues to resonate in terms of how much we need our own media and programs like yours, Sharon, and writing like yours, Reagan, to really continue to authentically tell our stories. And you are nothing if not authentic. So thank you.
That feels a little backhanded. Just nah.
Dang,
it was meant as a term of endearment.
No. I'm taking it as an endearment, but and also like and I think that's the brilliance of the Emerald, as well, is that you created an organization that galvanized the community to do just that, to tell our stories, to amplify the work in our community. It's a beautiful thing.
It's an amazing thing. And I also love, Reagan, that like you were doing it for you, right? Like I'm doing it for me. I'm going to troll y'all. I am going to put my piece in there. You are going to listen to me. But then as you started critiquing their work, it started making you feel better, right? And so it just speaks to how we as Black people, we often have to hold things in, and we get these stress bubbles, and we have this high blood pressure and like these bad hearts because we've been kept all this stuff in. But it actually rejuvenated you and being able to get it out of your system. Like, tell us more about that process and making that decision.
I mean, it was petty. I'm definitely over here, Petty LaBelle. Like, but also like I hit a level of rage that needed to be expressed. And this was actually probably the least destructive way that I could have done it. Because at least like it did, I think it needed to be said. And for me, it was an important moment as a writer to kind of step into the fullness of like, hey, like I'm a really good writer. 1, 2, it's not just that I'm a good writer, it's that I understand what's happening around me and I can synthesize it and explain it. And when I was reading like some of the articles that I, was reading, I was like, were you even there? Did you even like, you didn't show up. You just like, you're like, oh man, I got 30 minutes and I'm on deadline. So I'm gonna write something up. But there was no depth, there was no feeling, there was no connection, and it wasn't really honoring what had happened. And that, I guess, was also something that's been really helpful for me and clarifying for me in terms of what kind of a writer I want to choose to be and what kind of a journalist I want to choose to be. I've always been somewhat skeptical of journalism. I know it sounds weird to say, but it's true. Like for all the obvious reasons, right? For all the ways in which we're marginalized or poorly painted by media. And so to that end, like I always feel like I have kind of one foot out. And it was never something that I did full time because I never wanted to be financially dependent on that industry. And I never wanted to feel trapped. Like I couldn't have the freedom to say no or to fully express like, hey, like I'm not writing this crappy piece, or I'm, like you don't get to censor or edit me in that way. Like I wanted to always have enough freedom to be able to make those choices.
Michael B. Mayne, what do you think about that? You're muted.
There I go.
Uh-huh.
About what piece?
About Reagan, what we're talking about right now. I saw you over there like this. And and what people don't know is that you're actually the publisher for Reagan's book. And so when you hear her stories and you hear the things that she's saying today about, going through this process, what stands out to you?
I think it's important. I think it's really important. And for a lot of the things that Reagan's already saying, like the media, big media, does a lot to create a world in which Black folks are marginalized and people are afraid of us and have little faith, and there's all the negative things. A lot of that comes from how a lot of those negative perceptions come from how media portrays us and writes about us. And I've always found it to be extremely problematic that, and not just Black folks, but I find it very problematic when people are talked about, but are not the ones authoring their own stories and narratives, and in a way that is shared in the way that mass media is shared. And so like I don't think it's fair for me to say anyway, that we're not authoring our media, because we've always been storytellers. We've always created and shared narratives and everything. the way that the mass media works, is very good at silencing us. And so one of the things that I think is very special about Reagan's writing is not only is it strong from like any field of writing, but it's also this beautiful blend of journalism, critique, which you mentioned earlier, Sharon. It's like ethnography, essay, and they come together in this really cool way in which all aspects of it are valid and strong, and at the same time it invites people in to get perspective that oftentimes we just don't get shared. And so I think that whenever we have perspectives like this that should be shared and can be shared, that we do whatever we can to share it. Like I remember when Reagan sent the manuscript over to me in the first place, and I started reading it on the light rail home from the studio. I just couldn't stop, and I kept thinking, why have I not read this kind of work before? You know, like I read quite a bit. And I'm like, why am I not seeing this, hearing this, feeling this? And so I was like, yeah, this is this is important. And it's not just good and valid, it's also just very important. I think that it's incumbent upon people to make this accessible, and to not just make it accessible, but to celebrate and honor the work that goes into it and the person that Reagan is, and the people that Reagan represents. And so, to answer your question, Sharon Nyree Williams, that's how I'm feeling about what Reagan is saying right now.
Awesome. And you don't have to go anywhere. And you're going to be a part of this whole conversation today because you don't have much to do. So don't be trying to skip out on me.
You're putting everybody on blast today, Sharon.
I know, right?
Damn.
Because no talk. Last time he put me on blast in our show because I was only asking him about one artist and I didn't realize it. So I'm putting him on blast that he's going to be here today in the conversation. Because we don't get these conversations every day in Seattle, first of all, where it's just us and we can be open and honest about what we're talking about. So thank you, Michael. Marcus Harrison Greene. What are you bringing to the table today for us?
I'm going to bring you a piece called Home. It's a reflection on Kubota Garden. For those who do not know, Kubota Garden is a wonderful, wonderful garden in the midst of Rainier Beach. It's a place that I went to when I was younger. I went to, even though I grew up in the South End, I went to a very, I don't want to say ritzy private school, but it was definitely a private school, private high school, and certainly did not fit in. I was one of the few Black kids there who did not play sports, at least not until my senior year. And it was very much an experience of, trying to find yourself, trying to find who you were, growing up, and that whole thing about doing your best to fit in, and all you can do is stand out. And it was Kubota has been a place that I've returned to, often when I've had adversity and hardship in life, and it's been quite a bit of that over the last couple of years, and it's always been a place that I could return to, and it's the one place in the South End that I feel most at home. I mean, I'll say that I feel home in everywhere in South Seattle, but specifically there. And so this piece is called Home is a Place Called Kubota. Throughout my life, Kubota Garden has epitomized the most powerful one-syllable word in the English language. And no, that word isn't love, as powerful as it is. That word is home. Because home, at least an ideal one, is where human love, peace, fortitude, and belonging are nurtured and absorbed. Home is a place that goes beyond just welcoming you. It accepts you for all you are, whatever you may be. You need no invitation to enter its safety and its refuge. Kubota Garden first showed me how powerful the concept of home is as a teenager who was trying to do all he could to find himself and fit in and search for an identity that was compatible with a school where I was one of the few Black kids, and a life outside of school where I had my Blackness constantly challenged by some in my community who believed I thought myself superior to them because of my private education. At that stage of my life, on any given afternoon, I'd hear myself called Tar Baby, and then a few hours later have to turn around and fight kids who lived near my neighborhood on my way back home from school. It all added up to a recipe of alienation, with me never feeling as if I belonged anywhere. Anger began to have a constant grip on me, and that fury eventually mixed with depression and apathy. My spirit began to metabolize all the toxicity and negativity fed to me daily. It was around that time I found myself walking up Renton Avenue, raging internally at a world that didn't seem to want me. And like a magnetic force, Kubota Garden drew me in. As I entered the garden, I passed stone benches, hydrangeas in bloom, koi-filled ponds, and birches. It emanated something I'd rarely had in my life up to that point: stillness and grounding. Kubota soon became my remedy to painful insults and regular fisticuffs, so much so that there were days I'd skip school to stay in the garden all day, storing up enough peace I found in its sanctuary to equip myself for the world outside. The garden trumpeted this inaudible but somehow still visceral language of serenity that my spirit felt fluent in. It was a language shared by others in the garden, whom I saw engaged in reflection and meditation. At the time, Kubota Garden was a part of one of the most diverse zip codes in the United States. But ironically, it was one of the few places where I actually witnessed the mingling of my vibrant South Seattle community. Black, white, Asian, Pacific Islander, Japanese, Chinese, Somalian, Jewish, and so many, many more together. Their humanity hugged and affirmed by the boundaries of Kubota Garden. For those brief spells in Kubota, I witnessed an America that proclaims an equity and solidarity of humanity. That America that most of us hope for, but know rarely exists in practice. It was here on display for me every day. Honestly, the time I spent at Kubota is what got me through those days of adolescence when I was on the brink of engaging in self-destruction and self-harm. Just by its accessibility, Kubota made me feel gotten and validated. Now, I wish I could say that was the last time I ever needed to lean on the garden to help me get through life or process adversity, but in some ways, it was just the beginning. You see, I started developing a pattern in life where I swung between stability on one end and havoc on the other. And that pattern inevitably left a trail of fractured friendships, broken promises, and a roller coaster of loved ones I disappointed, including myself. I didn't know it at the time, but I had untreated bipolar disorder. Unaware of my mental illness, I lived often with a volatile mind. In those moments, the only place I could find peace from what felt like an onslaught of carnage was Kubota. It was there for me at times when few others were. It was there when I couldn't locate love anyplace else. It was there as I slowly began to repair and mend my life after accepting my diagnosis. It was there through every heartache, every amends that I needed to make, every time tragedy threatened to sink me. It was there as a revelation of the splendor of overcoming the inevitable hardships of life. This garden's founder endured racial discrimination, prison camps, and economic distress to produce and nurture magnificence. I remember that every time I visit the garden, whether I'm accompanied by joy, pain, sorrow, ardor, wonder, or awe. The garden calls to me just the same with an embrace of home. It calls me resembling the Persian poet and Sufi mystic Rumi's verse. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving, it doesn't matter. Ours is not a garden of despair. Come. Even if you have broken your vows 1,000 times, come yet again, come, come. And that is why home is the most powerful one-syllable word in the English language, because home is a reminder of life's beauty, endearment, dignity, and worth. Over these last few years, we've spent so much time, too much time, focused on the shadows cast by people who perpetuate hate and fear. We spent so little time on the sunbeams shown by people who spent their lives nurturing community and transmitting love through their life's work. And that is why home is the most powerful one-syllable word in the English language. Thanks.
Thank you. Let's start with Michael. Mike, what is that? Michael is really gonna make me work today. He act like he ain't never been on this show. Like he don't be on this show every episode. Michael, what does that piece say to you? What comes up for you?
Man, these pieces are so dense. There's so much. Well, there's a lot I can relate to. I didn't go to private school, but there's a lot that I can relate to in terms of being treated, like in a lot of the similar ways that you were treated, Marcus. What's coming up for me is I appreciate the rawness and the realness and how you show up in these pieces. I think that your discussion around like racism, being treated the way you were treated because of perceived like supremacy and things, and mental health and what you're doing with that, like those things I feel like they're not conversations I grew up with, and they're conversations that I wish were more present in my upbringing, so that I could be more aware of all the things that are just a more complete picture of reality and various realities and everything. And so I really appreciate you doing it. I didn't know you were working on a book, so props. And
thanks.
Yeah, and another thing besides, obviously you're a great writer. I appreciate that.
That's all Reagan's doing.
You're cool people. I appreciate that you cite your sources. And also, like, besides all of those things that I could just wax about, like we've done a couple of projects, and you often will say, let's do it at Kubota Garden. And I didn't know, I knew it was significant for you, but I didn't know how significant it was for you. So today I'm getting insights into the Marcus Harrison Greene that I know and appreciate, but now I'm knowing and appreciating you even more. So it feels like a gift for me personally. And I'm really proud of you for who you are and how you're sharing all of your experiences, so that we can all benefit from it.
I appreciate that. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, of course.
Reagan, what's coming up for you?
Well, I was gonna give you shit for using the word fisticuffs, like we in the 18th century, but no, I just love it. I love the piece. I have known that about you and your relationship with Kubota, and I'm glad that it's been a place of solace and a place that has helped you to heal. Yeah, so it was lovely to hear you read this piece. I also like all the layers to it, and kind of the backstory and the starting and kind of on the outside, and talking through like what are all the reasons why we need sanctuary, why we need a space, and then kind of going through like how it has evolved you and how home has evolved through you. So I like it. I'm looking forward to reading the book.
Thank you. I got one person. I got one copy. No, two copies, because my mom's gonna get it. Two sales.
I get my copy for free because she was late today.
I'm gonna autograph it too.
And my dad, he just texted me and he said, "Oh, so true." But okay, I have to do it. When I think of home, I think of a place where there's love. Okay, I just had to get that out my system. But I am so grateful, and typically my cousin Kim is typically watching this show, but it wasn't until a few years ago, when her and her daughter Ayana came out here, that I got to visit Kubota Gardens. And so, I had been here for 17, 18 years and hadn't even known that it was there. And I was like, Dad, this is in the South End. I used to go to church down the street and around the corner. I didn't know this was here. But at the same time, it also made me think of how, if we know more and experience more about other cultures, of how that can feed into us and help us through things. And then your bravery in sharing your story about, everything that has happened to us as kids, to where you are, and what has helped you get through that, and that being your place. And my happy place is Lake Washington, down on the water in the Spectrum parking lot. That's where I go for refuge. Reagan, where's your happy place? Your solace.
Oh, I'm sitting in it right now. It's my house.
You got the sage burning today, Reagan, or is it?
Yeah, there's always something burning around here.
Okay.
I do have to say that
Yeah.
COVID made me appreciate my house. I was like, I like my house. This is and it's gonna be hard to get me to come out. Michael, where's your happy place?
The studio.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
In the streets, in the basketball court, track for track and field, studio, in the streets, because I run in the streets.
That's
Literally run in the streets.
Yes.
In case my mom was watching, I mean running in the streets.
My dad said his happy place is home. And he loves his house, and I love his house too, and my mom's house and my grandmother's house and everybody's house. But thank you so much for that, Marcus. And I'm just gonna call you out on that smooth voice that you was reading, y'all. I was like, Dad, he's bringing it, no doubt.
I try to turn my Morgan Freeman voice on or whatever when a little younger version when I'm doing some reading. Anyway.
And hey, Mama Maine is watching, y'all.
Shout out, Diane.
Hey, Mama Maine. No diggity, no doubt. Reagan, what else do you have for us today?
Well, backing up to original questions about like what are 3 things. I actually think I only said 1, so I'm gonna say my 2 more things about me that I want the world to know. One is I'm a 4th generation Black feminist. I feel like it's always important to contextualize when and where I enter, quote from Paula Giddings, because it does shape how I think, how I move in the world, and who I am. And if y'all don't know about Black feminism, you can buy my mom's book, Theorizing Black Feminisms, and or her other book, Still Brave, The Evolution of Black Feminist Studies, because it's a game changer. And I think the third thing I was going to share was just, well, I've got like events and stuff I like to promote, but that's separate. I think, well, okay, so I was in an anthology called Black Imagination, and when we were doing the reading for Black Imagination, Natasha introduced me as the classiest person she knew, and I thought it was really funny. But also, what came up for me is I think sometimes people don't see me fully or see all the parts of me. And I don't know why, because I'm really out here. like I'm not really hiding anything. Like I'm in plain sight. I am who I am. But I'm putting that out there because I guess I just want it known that the energy with which you step to me is the energy with which I will respond. So if you're classy, we'll keep it classy. If you are, joyful, we can engage in that joy. If you come up at me crazy, expect that.
So if you ratchet, then
ratchet about to come
out. That's what's up. And it's funny because some people may call that code switching, but that's just being real, right? Whatever you bring,
that's complexity.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's like, yo, you can be civilized? Oh yeah, I can be civilized when I want to be civilized, but I could also get with you if you need me to get with you. But that's who we are as people. We go through all of those things.
We have Shakin Khan. I'm every woman. No.
I used to use the TI line, with Reagan. It was, she was articulate, but she was quick to snatch a Negro by the collar quick as well. No. Anyway.
I say, like, only if necessary. I am situationally appropriate. So let's, I like to elevate the situations I'm in for just that reason.
That's
Yeah,
what's up. I appreciate
absolutely.
that. It's real talk. So, what you gonna do for us?
You trying to get me to play the ukulele? That's what's happening, right?
I
No.
yeah, I'm so ready for the ukulele. Yo, when I saw her, when I saw Reagan playing the ukulele, first of all, I don't think I ever seen a black person play the ukulele. Second of all, yo, all in on the ukulele. Yo, what's up, Charles? I love you coming in from LA. All right, now I can hear you saying that, Charles. Yo, so I know it's sitting right beside you.
Yes, Sunny is here.
And
Sunny is
so
okay.
while Marcus figure out what he's gonna do next, yeah, we go because Marcus gonna close us out next. But what you got for us with the ukulele? And tell us why you started playing the ukulele. Because that's like it's not the drums, it's not the guitar, it's not the keyboard. You ain't DJing. You went and grabbed you. Come on now, you got to tell us. You got to tell us.
It's so funny. I walked into Coyote Central the other day during Feed the People, and Targ is like, "Yo, is that a ukulele?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Man, black people be nerds too." And I was like,
Side eye. What you saying?
Okay, I mean, yeah.
Well, I have to say that Charles, my friend Charles in LA says, "Yo, I love a good ukulele player."
Thank you, Charles, for showing love and appreciation. So, backing up, this has been a rough year, y'all. Like, it's been rough, and I feel like I don't know what is it. I feel it's cliche, but it's the best of times, it's the worst of times. Like, there's lots of stuff to do, and I'm really engaged in life, and it's been hard. And what I found is that my joy at a certain point was just slipping from me, and I wanted to do something to set a time, like literally put it in my calendar, like I am going to be joyful at this time, a couple of times a week, like the same way we schedule everything else. I schedule the dentist, I schedule, work, like I want to schedule some joy. And my friend Haji Basim, he's a musician, world class musician. I think they call him an urban folk artist. He plays like 11 instruments, and he put out a thing talking about, I got the special ukulele songwriter immersion, and I just felt really called to take it. And so it was an 8-week class. And he, like, when you get the class, he sent me this ukulele, and it's really cute because it's got this inscription here that says "Sun will shine," and I was like, "Oh, it's like sun in a box." And it came with all the accoutrements and whatever. And the process just it did exactly that. It made me joyful again. I connected with kind of my inner child, I guess. This feels corny to say it, but I did. Like, I felt delighted. And it's been, I think ukulele for me is a lot more accessible than guitar, because every like 5 years or so I'm like, I'm gonna learn how to play guitar, and like I'll start and then my fingers hurt and I'm not calloused, and it's not a joyful experience. But with the ukulele, like right away, like I could just kind of strum a little, and you can't really mess it up that badly. Yeah, so I've written 4 songs. I just finished my 8-week course. And 3 out of 4 have music to them as well. Like, I did the lyrics and the music. And then 2 out of the 4 I've memorized. And 1 out of the 4 is actually like I think I might got it. So I'm gonna try that one.
Thank you.
This is the first song I've ever written. On the ukulele, it's called, did I get a name? Something about the moon. Sitting in my backyard, beneath the willow tree, blanket of stars surrounding me. When I look up at the moon, when she looks down, I wonder what she sees. Does the moon get lonely, sitting in the night sky? Does she ever get angry and stomp her feet and want to cry, cry, cry? When the night gets lonely and my heart is full of fight, I sit beneath a willow tree and try to find my light. In the distance, am I as beautiful to her as she is to me? Does she see all my flaws or just the glow surrounding? Does the moon get lonely, sitting in the night sky? Does she ever get heartsick and lose her way and want to cry, cry, cry? Or is it enough to be golden and shine your light across the sky? Wipe your tears and get back up. It's time to shine your light. It's time to shine. Shine, shine, shine. It's time to shine. Shine your light.
Yes, thank you so much. You know, you just made a whole bunch of people just be like, yo, they went to Amazon.com, like, can I ukulele? How can I get ukulele?
Yeah,
Um,
can me and Ben get that for in the South End? That's gonna be the, you know, it's gonna be a take on In the Heights, but it's just gonna happen in the South End. So we got you.
ukulele in the South
We got you.
Yo, for your party, yo, we're gonna just bring the ukuleles and be like, But what I love about you playing the ukulele is that you just did it. And so many people wait, right? Like, I always wanted to do that, or I think I should do that. And you did it for yourself. Because, and then I don't know if you noticed this, but I noticed this in watching you. It was like just you and the ukulele, right? It was like you zoomed all of us out and you just focused. And I know you're starting off, and so you're getting new, but it just was like you were comfortable, and it was just you and the ukulele. And Mama Maine said beautiful.
Oh, thanks, Diane.
And my dad texted and said soothing background music. And and my dad is a Luther Vandross fan. So but I just love, like, the lyrics and everything is great. The music is great. You're great. Is this your first time writing a song?
Oh, wow.
Well, yes and no. I would say I did one of the youth in my program. I'm the co-executive director of Young Women Empowered, and Jadalyn wrote this really cool, like, ukulele. She plays the ukulele. See, this is how I get into it. These kids are like doing cool stuff, and I'm like, oh, I want to try that. And so for Ignite, when she sent in her ukulele submission as a creative share for our annual fundraiser, I ended up writing words to her song as a welcome song. So that was like technically my first song, which was also this year. I mean, so I guess, yeah, this is a start for me. This is something different that I haven't really done before, which is kind of why I have to tune y'all out, because it's new. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm trying to figure out my fingers. Like,
no, it just felt like you were in your zone and in your space. So like Marcus talked about his home. You know what? I didn't plug in my computer. Sorry, Michael. But as Marcus talked about Kubota Gardens being his home, right? That refuge place. And it just felt like you had already told us that you wanted to do something that was going to make you happy, and it just proved to it that you totally zoned out. It's totally all about you and the ukulele and your story. So thank you. Marcus, how you feel about what's standing out to you?
Just again, I mean, Reagan just fully being alive in that moment, and I didn't know she could sing like that either, as well. So, like I said, I wasn't joking. I mean, you might be in the, over at the Arc Lodge, they're gonna be playing in the South End 2 years from now. So, with the photo, but no, but no, I mean, and just even the lyrics as well. It just seemed very. Raw is probably the wrong word in this instance, but
that was real.
well, Michael had used it earlier, so as a writer, I'm trying to find a different one. But yeah, but just I mean, just very. I don't know. You just put all of yourself into that song, and you could just tell it was like there wasn't one false note. As you were singing, it just felt, true and real. Like you could, even though we're meeting remotely here and virtually and stuff, it still was a visceral reaction to it. It's just, I don't know, there's this warmth that came from that. And it's the warmth of truth, and it was as true as the day is long. So it was just a great song. And if it's called Something About the Moon, or did you just say it's something about the moon?
That's me like, I don't know what it's called. Moon.
Okay, well, it I thought that title was actually good. Something About the Moon.
yeah, that works.
Yeah, that's what it's called. And then next time you hear her playing it at the Arc Lodge, it's gonna be like, I thought that was something about the moon. No, that was for that moment, man.
No, but I do just love Reagan, how like anything you try, you give your 188% to it, and and whether it's playing the ukulele, it's writing, it's teaching, it's mentoring, a young person. It's everybody knows what they get from you, and that's everything you have every day. So
cool.
Oh, thank you.
And on this show, our music connoisseur is DJ Michael B Mayne. Mike, what I bring up to you?
We got the remix coming. No.
First thing that Sharon, how much battery power do you have left on your computer?
Oh, I have plenty of battery power. I just didn't plug in the Ethernet cable like I was supposed to.
Okay, cool. First thing that came up for me when I first started hearing you, Reagan, was, yo, Reagan got a voice,
right?
And not like Reagan has a voice. We know Reagan has a voice, but like,
I'm like, she's always running her mouth. So I mean,
but I'm like, yo, your voice sounds beautiful, and yeah, it's special to be able to hear you do that. I mean, of course, like you're always growing, you're always trying new things, perfecting new things, and then I'm trying to use positive language because like my joking side wants to go like, I'm mad at you for having a voice like that, but I'm not mad at you, so I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna perpetuate that.
Choose your words.
It's really cool to see yet another talent that you possess, and then to watch you take that and then develop that. Like, it makes sense that you're writing music because you're great at writing, and you love music, and you love what you do. And so I'm like, that makes sense. It's just special. Plus, looking at your face, seeing how happy you seem to me, you looked happy in that moment, and to just watch. I don't see enough Black joy or joy among Black people, period. And as much as I see, I still don't see enough. And so it's beautiful for me to see that in whatever form it takes. And it reminds me to take some time to experience my own joy, because I don't do that enough. And my mama's watching. And so, Mama, I hope you take this and make some time for your own joy too. Don't cuss me out. Don't cuss me out.
Cuss him out.
You know
I'm
what's
waiting for
coming.
that comment to come through. The comment gonna come through in a text message and a phone call.
I hope Mama Maine got on that bike and out there on that bike getting it in.
Mhm.
Uh,
So
but that's props.
yeah.
That's dope.
And of course, the lyrics, everything,
Yeah.
good. Positive, everything. But it's for me, the thing that really stands out is just how special it is to see you in that space when you do that.
Oh,
Uh,
thanks.
Mama Maine said, Michael, I think you would go there.
Mhm. I get it from somewhere.
And then somebody said in the comments, I can't wait for the album.
Sharon.
They got your same name, Sharon and Stone.
Oh, damn, yo!
They got your same name.
No, she said something. Dang, I meant to check on Minerva or something. Like, I hit the wrong box.
Mhm.
But yeah, but it doesn't have to be an album, right? It doesn't. It's for you.
Mhm.
And whatever you want to do it, and that's what I love about it. That's what I love watching you on Instagram. Like it's yours, and you can do it. You can share it if you want to. All it means is that you're happy. So that is really, really great. Oh my!
Shout out to Gavin.
Gavin
Shout
said.
out, Gavin.
Gavin said, "Kick out
Kick out
EP, please." That's what's up. And then Gavin even told you where to put it. Drop it on Spotify.
Okay. Right there.
That's coming from another musician right there. Gavin is
I know,
dope.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what's up. I love it. I love it. I love it. Oh, and before we go to Marcus's final piece, Reagan, can you tell us a little bit about why we? Because you mentioned it, but you didn't tell us any information about it. And I put the information, the website in the chat already. So can you tell a little bit of people about why we?
Yeah. So yeah, I did mention I'm the co-executive director of Young Women Empowered, or Why We, and we always talk about all of the programs that we run, like their mentorship programs. We work with young women, trans, non-binary identified youth, ages 13 to 19. Plus, we have a strong alumni cohort now as well, kind of that 19 to 24. But it's more than just a program. It's a community. It's a family. It's a way of being in the world, in which you are authentically being all of who you are and bringing it to a space and bringing it with the mindset of connecting with others and participating in a community of belonging. So for a lot of us on staff at Why We, this is our heart work. It's why we get up in the morning. We so love the work that we do because it's what we wish we had when we were the young people's age. Like, we're giving out that much needed support, particularly centering youth of color, our BIPOC girls, and making sure that they have access to everything they need, not just to look good on paper, to be good academically, but in a holistic way. So that's what we've been up to. We've got summer camps coming up. Why We Create. We're going to be podcasting with Lulu Carpenter and doing some art with Jackie Amatucci. We've got Taya Carlisle on deck at Wanawari in person to do gardening and salve making. Then we got Why We Write coming up in August as well. I'll be co-facilitating that with incredible slam poet and MC and actor Nakua.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Our theme for Why We Write this year is writing our liberation, and we're gonna work our way on the through our chakras. Each day is a different chakra, starting from the bottom, moving up with our embodiment, and then we'll be doing speculative fiction, specifically looking at BIPOC futurism, memoir poetry. Because really, want to canonize this moment, this moment in time that our youth are living through. We want to make sure they have a language to capture this experience, and songwriting. So yeah, we've got all sorts of stuff. All of our programs are free or pay what you can. We try to make everything as low barrier as possible. If you need support with transportation, we've got you. Mulu Abate. If y'all aren't up on Mulu is an incredible chef. And yeah, so he's coming through with all of our lunch. He's gonna cater all of our lunches all summer. So just saw his new menu. It's gonna be delicious.
Yo,
yeah, so come
there's
through.
something for people to do. Don't say you don't have nothing to do.
Yeah, no, we got you. You need something
We
to
got
do.
you.
And we're intentionally like in person because that's been the feedback from our youth is that they've been really grateful that we were all online last year in order to make it accessible for them with COVID safety concerns. But they're like, we are so tired and we want to be in person and we need to see each other. So we're doing our best to do small cohort programming out of Coyote Central, El Centro de la Raza, Wanawari, and Seattle Girls School.
Awesome. Thank you. Yo, first of all, thank you for you and your entire staff and team for all the work that you're doing and all the contractors that you're bringing in. That's amazing. And then Jamaican Princess says, yes, more Black joy.
I'll love it.
And if you need a place for publishing some of that fiction, Reagan, I got a spot for you.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate it. And I will definitely we'll be compiling and putting it together because we definitely want to do that. And then I also just wanted to mention the Blackout that's coming out because one of the other things that YWE has done that I shouldn't say I didn't expect them to do it, but last year, Mary Williams and I were in conversation about the space at the Chop and wanting to do a Blackout there. And unanimously, my entire staff was like, because I was just going to take a day off and, do it on my own. They were like, oh no, we want you to take it as a day on and mobilize all of us, allies and Black folk alike. Like, we want to come together to support this Blackout. So to that end, Blackout Healing has become an affinity group that is sponsored and hosted through YWE, but it's for all ages, all genders of anyone who identifies as Black and is living a Black experience. So this year for Juneteenth, in celebration of our Day of Freedom, we're going to be at Yes Farm. We'll be there from about 2:30 to 8 p.m. We've got Hannah, who is with the Black Star Farmers, who's going to do a little gardening demo and explain what the farm is about, introduce you to that. We've got incredible artist Aramis Hamer, who's going to come through with some guided projects. This DJ Blindiana Jones will be spinning from 2:30 to 6 o'clock. So it's kind of more of a kickback where yes, there's going to be art and there'll be gardening, but if you want to just come and play some cards with me or, sit and hang out, it's just going to be a very chill space. And then in the evening, Victoria Santos will be hosting a healing ritual. So we do ask that if you want dinner and you want to RSVP to the healing ritual, RSVP to Mary at y-we.org. But just come, just show up.
Yeah, I mean, y'all, real talk. Reagan is doing some amazing work with some amazing people, and so if you can sew into her at all, her Venmo is and that's supposed to be an @ and not a $ Cash App. I get all confused. At Reagan Jackson -2, but help support any of the organizations that she spoke about today. No doubt. Thank you, Reagan, for all that you do in helping us. That's so dope. Mr. Marcus.
Yes.
Okay. Every time I call Marcus, I'm like, Marcus.
You ain't quite the Eartha Kitt down, but it's
I know it's I can't do Eartha Kitt. That's she did that. I just do me. Marcus, what you got for us?
Oh, I'm gonna do a little quick acapella song.
Okay, that's what's up. Michael gonna beat
bars now, huh?
Everybody was kung fu fighting. Those kicks was fast as lightning. Nah, I'm playing. I was.
You've been in that Komodo garden a little too long, man.
Man, they was doing it today. They was out doing it. The demonstrations today. No, I'm I have a poem actually. I write a lot of poetry, but this came out of a time, especially now where it's commencements are going on, the ending of something and the beginning of something else. It was a poem that I wrote when I was sort of in between not accepting bipolar disorder and doing some very destructive things to sort of self-medicate, and then coming on the other side of that and realizing that as much as I cared about certain people in my life, I needed to let them go. And at the same time, some of them needed to let me go. And so this poem is called Recall. And it's sort of about, in some ways, a look back so that you can go forward. I remember the might of hellos in dirty laboratories, majestic words unlocked by reluctant caffeine highs, assembling puzzle pieces of a dream, a disbelief in rising stars, feathers sheared to mimic Michelangelo, an unkissed face lit by the sun's mercy, songs belted with a whole heart, trails sought by two and found by one, a mother's anguish for a child's touch, the silence of untold truths unmistakable from lies, honesty turned in too late to be given full credit, cowardice of the heart, and tardy defenselessness, too many untrusted tomorrows, the cleansing flame of goodbye. And one day, I'll remember a stolen dance with happiness, what love looks like without mascara. You. That's it. I know we had a 7:15, close out, so I just wanted to, I was like, let me do the small poem.
Yo,
no, that's the poem.
Oh, okay.
I was like, let me find a small piece because let me.
Don't be cheating us. Don't be cheating us.
I didn't,
This was your Darius moment, right? Like throwback to Love Jones.
Yeah, I just watched that this week again.
I forgot about that flick. Yeah, that was good. That was Isaiah Washington was in there too, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nia Long,
Lorenz Tate, yeah.
It was
Bill Bellamy.
Yeah. Oh my God, Bill Bellamy was.
Yes, it's on Netflix right now.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
If you need a refresher, but I did give me to the y'all. Yeah, man.
Scott to the ocean.
I'm the blues in your left side, funk in your right. I don't know.
I think that's the first poem. Like most of our generation of Black folks is like, oh, I know that poem.
it had a dope soundtrack too, though. It had a dope soundtrack. Maxwell, I think, and a couple other folks.
Yeah, that beautiful sound. Sorry, y'all, if you hearing rumbling in the back, that's Duchess. The bull she stole from the neighbor's house today. And Duchess, cut it out. Thank you. Sorry. Reagan, what does, other than Yimmy Love Jones, what do you think of Marcus's creativity?
I think it's cool because it's so rare. I think that you share your poetry as opposed to like your journalism. I feel like you lead with more of the facts and stuff. And I know you closet romantic, so it doesn't surprise me that you'll be all like out there. But yeah, it was cool.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Mike, what you tell Marcus how you feel about his poem?
I love you, Marcus.
I love you too.
No, it's good to hear your poetry. It's good to hear it, man. It's good. I appreciate tonight that you showed up and you're showing so many parts of yourself and painting a more complete picture of who Marcus Greene is. And thank you for that.
Damn, Marcus Harrison Greene, man. It's all three names, bro.
Yo,
I know. I'm playing.
I know what that is.
I'm sensitive about my shit. Like,
I'm playing.
Yeah.
I'm playing. No, I mean, you ain't texting my mama now. You ain't texting my mama. Are you?
Better get him. My fault, Marcus Harrison Greene.
Yo, there's so many Marcus Greens out there, yo. I feel you.
No, man. Seriously though, props to you. And thanks for sharing that. Thanks for sharing that. It's good.
Yeah, it was great to see a different side of you. And now everything that you was telling us in the beginning about working with Ben Hunter and doing the play and all of that, that full circle moment of, I started a newspaper. Yes, I did that, but that is not all of me. And I think you brought more of yourself to the table today, and I really do appreciate that. And I appreciate it more when we eat that pizza and
yes,
we'll pay for it.
All y'all is invited. I'm only paying.
I might show up for that one.
Are you gonna come for that? Okay. Okay now.
Yeah, I appreciate
it. Don't get it twisted.
Okay, cool.
No, but I will say, just real quick, when I was, I guess we're all around the same age. I want to say that Michael, you what, 52, 50, 60?
Yeah, I'm moisturized.
Okay, I know you got that cocoa glow, that the queen of lean,
that green tea that we use.
Yep.
No, but when the rapper DMX, when he passed away, there was a lot of think pieces and so forth. And I listened to this podcast. It's called Chat with the Black Therapist, and she talked about how we kind of took for granted the fact that, especially at that point of like early aughts, I guess, hip hop and late 90s, where somebody specifically, a male artist, a male rapper at the time, when it was extremely toxic in terms of the masculinity that was going on in hip hop at the time, could go and just be raw and real and himself, and he could cry on stage 1 minute and then talk about something else the next minute, and then pray at the end of it. And so to be just fully himself, at all times, and showing all of his aspects, that was ultimately his legacy, is what they were saying. And so that, as somebody he wasn't necessarily ever the best lyricist, but as somebody who was a fan of his for a while, it kind of inspired me a bit to walk more of that creative path, going forward. So
he might not have been the strongest lyricist, but he was the best prayer ever.
Yes.
You feel healed after DMX prayer.
After DMX prayer, man, I fall on the altar. I'll be like, yo.
Yeah, I saw some people getting up out of wheelchairs and everything. It was near. That's
fire. And so, Michael, I think we got some graphics that of Marcus's book that's coming out.
Some graphics?
I think he sent like 3.
I know you put one up earlier.
I know you got one. So everybody can see the lovely cover.
Michael
is tripping. Then Michael will go and try to find the other ones.
I sure will. I'm like, well, let me look for it.
Just give us the one. Do you have it? Who did the cover for you?
So this is my friend Vladimir Verano. He's a huge John Michel Baptiste fan, and so kind of wanted to try to emulate some of that style a bit. But yeah, so dropping September 21st, collection of mostly revised work, but also a couple new things in there. It just shows the evolution, kind of like how Reagan was saying that you go from where you were in 2016 to today, and at writing as a 33-year-old man, it was different from writing as a 40-year-old man, but at the same time, I'm proud of all of it.
Wow, you said your age in public, like that's a first.
Oh, well. I mean, being honest,
you want to say,
why are you counting the years? No.
I count the moments that take my breath away. I think that's what Prince said, or something like that.
Mark is trying to get receipts, like, yo, for a minute. I've been in here, no doubt. So we're looking forward to the party to celebrate the book.
I'm trying to host it at obviously a Black-owned establishment, so potentially potentially Von Bonner down in Renton, and I know they just opened one in Seattle as well. I think it's on 12th and Jefferson. No, 12th and Jackson, I want to say. So, we'll, please stay tuned. So,
Cobain.
Congrats.
Thank you.
And let me know if you want to bring it to Langston. Performing Arts Institute,
Okay.
You know people.
Yeah, I didn't want to leverage some of them relationships, but I will.
I mean, no. You don't want to leverage relationship, but you want to be 3 minutes on time. Okay.
Man, I showed up fully though.
You did show up fully. I feel like I had your, I don't know, your phone is probably blowing up.
Well, it's dead, so I know I'm about to get when it does turn on, it'll be 70 messages or something.
Yeah, and then because usually we put up donate to the artist, but Marcus has asked that you donate to the South Seattle Emerald in honor of him being here today. So thank you, Marcus, and for all you do. And the beautiful thing about putting this show together, right? I didn't know that Reagan taught you how to help you with your writing, and so that's really beautiful. And then I didn't put it together until we started the show that y'all were both in the South End. So I should have called the show today South End, Shakin Shit Up in the South End.
That's the best end.
So represent, no diggity, no doubt.
Rainier Beach, what?
Yeah.
No doubt. So I appreciate both of y'all for hanging out, y'all. Please, during this show, everyone, we've put up their social medias, we put up their websites, we put up their who to donate to, how to get money, and the things that they're doing. And please, we put up their flyers, so you have all that information.
Yes.
This podcast lives on YouTube and Facebook and on my website, and so please support these creatives, because they're out here doing the work that that other people scared to do, and to step up and say the things that they say and to be the people that they are in community is everything. And so we have to be gracious for that. The things that our children don't get in school, they get from these two individuals right here. And the things that we don't get as an adults and we want to be fed, we get from these two people right here. So let's continue to bless them with that. And
Christian, if any of your listeners know Mackenzie Scott, you could tell her to holler at us with some cash and some ducats.
There it is. Somebody hit me up with that yesterday. Tell Mackenzie Scott to hit me up. No diggity. Also, Michael, this show is a part of something that you're doing that's really big. So tell the people about We Out Here.
We Out Here. Reagan said it best earlier. I'll be out here. We Out Here is a celebration of Black existence and Black excellence in all of its forms, not just the academic, in the Seattle area. And it started off as a portrait series because I kept hearing people say things like, there are no Black people here. There are no Black people here. I wanted to hire somebody who was Black, but couldn't find any. And I kept thinking, well, why are people telling me, a Black person, there are no Black people here? Because to tell me that to my face is to erase my existence. And yeah, and I was like, that's not cool. And I wanted to do something about it just for me personally. And that's one of the themes here that I'm seeing is that a lot of what we do it for us, and then it turns into something else and it grows. But I started off doing a portrait series, just photographing Black folks that I came across that I was like, yo, you doing cool stuff. And actually both of the people here as guests have been people that photographed for the series. And it eventually turned into We Out Here, the festival, because when given the opportunity to show the work, I thought it was more important to bring people together so that we could celebrate each other in space than to look at their faces and read a bio or something. And so that's what it grew out of. And I'm collaborating very closely with Langston. So shout out to Langston, the organization. Thank you, and Tim, all your work. I'm trying.
Jasmine, Jazzy Jazz.
Oh, yeah. Jay Scott.
I know I'm sounding mad monotone right now. I'm sorry. That's how my voice is. I'm trying
Inflect.
I'm trying to. I'm much more excited than it probably sounds.
I got.
This is what I do.
We got your booyaka
Yes.
for you.
Yes.
Out here.
So I'm trying. I've always been a monotone person. I will try to inflect a little bit so that you know that I'm awake and whatnot. But no, it's something I'm really proud of. It is it's a celebration. So people come in. We have an unplugged style concert tomorrow. This evening, Mary and Osborne and the Mahogany Project are bringing, and I don't want to mess it up, so I'm gonna read it. But starting it right now, there's a program called Taking Your Show on the Road: Perspectives from an International Entertainment Promoter, named Donna Carpenter Fukushima, who is, here's the description of the project. Are you a solo artist, musician, or in a band and want to take your act on the road? Not sure what you need to make this happen? And what do you do once you get there? Join a lively discussion with business entrepreneur and past international promoter, Donna Carpenter Fukushima. As an international promoter for over 20 years, Donna will share her experience and perspectives on what successful tours look like, the players in the music business game, building a fan base, and how to have longevity in your career. Moderator, Marianne Osborne. Love you, Marianne Osborne.
Yeah.
And the Mahogany Project. The conversation will be followed by a Q&A. That's question and answer. And you can find that and all the other programs coming up at weoutHereSeattle.com. But yeah, there's music, there's workshops, performances, and there's also we're trying to highlight other activities that are going on. I think it's important, not just we, but I'll speak for myself. I think it's really important to recognize the other work that is going on, especially around Juneteenth and all things that are celebrating Black people, Black existence, and Black excellence. So if you visit the We Out Here website, there are also several partner organizations that are up there. And if you know of anything that we don't know about yet, let us know, and we'll do our best to shine a light on it so that more people can be aware of what's going on. And that is my spiel. Sharon, I hope I did an okay job. Thank you for bringing it up.
You did a wonderful job today. It was wonderful to have you in the whole conversation. And also, we'll be remiss without acknowledging that this weekend is Juneteenth weekend, and although if you don't know what Juneteenth is, Google it. You can find it yourself. I'm not going to teach you what Juneteenth is, but also just know that we still have a lot of work to be free, and I hope by seeing artists and strong Black people like Marcus, Reagan, Michael, that and me, that you know that you can do whatever you set your mind to if you put in the work. And let us know if we can support you. The beautiful part about We Out Here, you will see some Shakin Shit Up artists that had came through. That is all in that. So we're all connected, y'all. We're staying connected, and so please continue to support all that we're doing. We really do appreciate that. And before we go, I just want to also say, Michael has a website as well, michaelbmayne.com. He's Michael B Mayne on all platforms. And he's also Michael B Mayne on all pay apps as well. So
yes, I
just handled all of that. Yes, indeed. Michael B Mayne. And also this weekend, tomorrow, for Juneteenth, I will be participating in a Dsu Telethon, Delaware State University. If you don't know, it's a historically Black college that I graduated from in 97 and 2000, and I'll be doing a piece during the telethon. So if you want to come hang out and for a few hours tomorrow, for 3 hours in Juneteenth, and honoring HBCU, honoring the queens, all the Miss Delaware State University queens, please do. But thank y'all for coming to Shakin Shit Out. We will see you again next month. I think I thought we were skipping July, but we need to see you next month or in August. Be sure to go to my website, my Instagram, all that stuff, and we'll keep you up to date there. But thank you for hanging out with us today. Now, right now, go over to weoutHereSeattle.com and check out Marianne's show, because we out here in these streets. And Michael, hit that music for us. Thank y'all. Deuces. Yeah.
Love you, mama.
Hey, you mama, daddy.
Bye, Miss Diane.
Bye, Mama Maine.
Peace.
All right.